Hello, lovies. It's Christina again on Karma's Eye Psychic LLC on Universal Spirit Podcast. So this is my fourth season, first episode. We are talking about Islamic rituals, magic, culture, and a bit of history and how it's tied into other non-formal thoughts on the Islamic religion. I'm not going to get so deep into the actual religion itself. I'm really just going to talk about Arabic culture and the worship of multiple gods and goddesses and deities. The basics of Islam, if you were to sum it all up, it's the worship of Allah and only Allah, even though pre-Arabian culture and in Arabia itself had a mixture of many cultures and religions such as Judaism, Christianity, Mesopotamia culture. There was still a lot of Egyptian culture still mashed in that peninsula of a country, and of course the Middle East in general culture. Being surrounded by all these multicultural religions, it was only a matter of time before Arabia was going to settle on their own base religion, which is known as Islam, and being Muslim in the Middle East. I'm just gonna focus on pre-Islamic religion. There is a lot of talk about how one of the basics of Islamic culture comes from Egypt. The example that I'm going to give today has a lot to do with the ritual use of the evil eye. We are very familiar with the evil eye. Everyone sees it. It's a black eye, looks like a real, white, around, and then it's covered in this baby blue, if not royal blue, literally any shade of blue, which is known to ward off evil spirit. The origin, though, of this evil eye came from the Egyptian god Horus. The Egyptian god Horus' eye was placed basically everywhere where people, they felt they needed protection. Temples, houses, schools, courtyards, places of power such as, politicians and kings and queens. People even had this eye of Horus tattooed onto them, preferably on the back of their neck, because it's like seeing behind you, seeing what you can't see. Anyone directing any type of harm or any type of jealousy, mostly, sending it back to the sender and not letting it affect you and not letting it cause disastrous events in your life. The reason why it was so, prevalent is because jealousy itself is something that we all encounter at some point. We are not immune to being jealous of anyone close or not near to us because of success or a relationship or money or whichever. So because that jealousy was such a natural part of the human experience and the human condition, there had to be a spiritual remedy that could protect you from the absolute disastrous parts of being jealous. Because there's one to being jealous, and then you're going to be envious. Envious then causes a person to want to physically, emotionally destroy you because of this thing that you have or possess that they do not, or they would like to have, or it keeps them from coming in and taking whatever it is that they are so jealous of. People associated a lot with physical objects, such as having a nice car, having a beautiful wife, having a beautiful home, having a successful career, and then they ninja their way into your life and they mess it up. I don't know if anyone has ever watched that movie Hand That Rocks the Cradle, because I use this very often when I find someone in my center or my circle who is like a Peyton. Okay, back in ancient Egypt, you had a eye of Horus on everything that you love dear, even your children, so nobody would come into your life and Peyton your ass. Okay, watch the movie. It's pretty good. Over time, the Egyptian culture had decided to beautify this Eye of Horus. They made it to look more like a human eye, and the color blue being like a neutralizing color to neutralize any negativity. So blue was basically the whack-a-mole of anything trying to bother you, so to speak. It brings everything back to calm. Any other color could be defeated by the color blue. It was, or still is, a very valuable color in the Egyptian culture. Why am I talking about this? Well, because in pre-Islamic Arabia, the evil eye traveled with them as a culture, as a people, and they decided to change it or add to it to give it a hand, and we have known that now as the famous Hamsa, when people put their hand up and they claim that the evil eye is in the palm of their hand, giving the hand and that space between, in your palm, a lot of spiritual entry and a lot of spiritual exit power. So if I put up my hand, it's like I'm saying stop. I have the evil eye. The evil eye is now sending back whatever it is that you are trying to put on me. When this very small basic thing such as the evil eye traveled to pre-Islamic Arabia, they were known, just as the Egyptians, to pray to as many as 360 gods and goddesses. This is before the Islamic became a religion. It was places such as Mecca, to worship multiple gods and goddesses for the same reasons why it's done in pagan and Norse and the occult cultures. This evil eye and this Hamsa was considered to be, in fact, magical, that it was the ultimate protection guide or spiritual, overcoat that you could wear against any enemy. And while taking this from the Egyptians, you will find many texts in the Quran that will in fact invoke and talk about the evil eye itself. It would be known or pronounced as the Masha Allah, which is, it is Allah's will. For example, if anyone was to mention something that is good fortune for you, such as your success or your car or your wife, if you say Masha Allah, you say, well, I basically deserved it, so Allah has allowed me to have it. That is like sending or invoking the evil eye, as if you were literally invoking like a spell or a ritual. These rituals and these spells were in fact repeated over and over again in these temples in Mecca and in the Kaaba. Whenever you were encountering someone who was even questioning your good fortune, that's called the hasad. So if you ever mention somebody saying the hasad, it means that they are the jealousy, they are the evildoer, they are the enemy, so to speak. So the evil eye is like the antidote to the hasad, and they have almost deitized hasad to be an actual entity of jealousy and envy that would come after you, that it's chasing all of us. It chases even the smallest of us, the less fortunate, even the highest fortunate. That the hasad will always try to be pursuing anyone that is of having of good fortune, of good luck, or even good health in particular, because good health tends to be something that we take for granted, unlike the early Egyptians and unlike the pre-Islamic Arabia, where actually your health was the number one thing, where people really only lived to be about 40 to 45 years old. That was like the oldest you would ever be, and given that they were diseases and plagues that they had not made modern medicine for, they believed it was in fact the hasad, and not being grateful for your good health, or even people wishing bad health on you and not protecting yourself with either prayer, rituals, or the evil eye. Another way where people would protect themselves from the Hassad is that they would give their children meaningless names, or names, their children, things that were really, really silly. If they were translated into English, it would be more like, my son's name is Bike, my son's name is Fork, or just to protect them from people that they may know. Sometimes even, only calling their children these names in the presence of people that they believed held the negative or evil spirit of the Hassad. Everyone has frenemies, and this is their way of protecting from frenemies. The reason why I find this very interesting, because for those of you who know the Bruce Lee story, that his father named him a girl's name to protect his son from demons. Apparently he had other sons before Bruce Lee that had died. So he had then called Bruce a different name. He was born Lee John Fan. His father decided to call him, around others, Sai Fan, which means little phoenix, which is in fact a Cantonese girl's name. He was trying to fool the demons, which was a very common practice in Middle Eastern, East Asian, pre-Arabic culture, to fool demons that would carry the Hassad, that would come around and steal your good fortune, which would include having children, having another son. To have a son was to be considered a good and high standard. To have a girl was very, very low standard. So you're less likely to have someone to feel envy toward you. So he called him Sai Fang instead, to keep the evil eye away from him and his family. I bet you guys probably did not know that, but if you did, still an interesting thing to know, and that's also the origin of why that was done. These practices are very common, practiced by what you call Gayo Muslims, which are Muslims who still hold on to ritualistic magic, spells, and witchcraft, and the understanding of other gods and deities and goddesses, and giving value to nature and animals and cause and effect, and understanding the 12 laws of the universe and astrology. Still very spiritual injected, Muslims. They're called Gayo Muslims, and there is in fact an incantation which is adapted from a book called Muslims Through Discourse, Religion and Ritual in Gayo Society. It was written by John R. Bowman. You can purchase this book, I believe, through thrift books. You can get it through eBay. I'm not sure if it's available on Amazon, maybe not the hard copy, but possibly the audiobook. But I'm going to read an adaptation of a ritual that is mentioned exclusively in the Quran in regards to the evil eye and to the protection of oneself and preservation of oneself, which is so interesting because you can find a lot of these rituals too in the Bible, specifically in Psalms and Proverbs, just little hints and clues to a lot of spiritual witchy rituals and magic to invoke these gods, goddesses, deities, and energies, and these outcomes to keep one protected and to keep one safe from any type of harm. But in this particular, we're talking about the evil eye, the Hassad, the anger and the jealousy, and to keep yourself, just safe from harm, and also protecting your precious possessions. So once you get your blue, natural looking evil eye hung up on the door of your, business, your home, your prized possession, your trophies, even if you had it tattooed on your physical body. This comes from the Quran 61-13, and it says, quote, "And he will give you another blessing which you love, help from God, and present victory. Give good tidings, O Muhammad, to believers," end of quote. Shortly after, you will then say, quote, "Let my strength be from God, my resistance to blows from Muhammad, my invulnerability to iron from Adam," end quote. Then after repeating this multiple times, you close the prayer with, let my blanket be from God, my cloak from God, my shawl from God. Repeating that over and over is to further push back the hasad, to further push back the evil spirits, the jealousy, the envy. Supposedly it's supposed to just fly away, go away, and you will be overwhelmed with a feeling of protection. You will be overwhelmed with a feeling of relief, knowing that it's gone, or even the people that are bringing it will suddenly just not be in your life anymore. It's like I said, it's no different from saying any of these from the Psalms. There is burning candles, there's burning incense, there's doing it over a multiple of days, such as 3 to 7 to 9 to 14 to 21 days. Also, you would in fact either bang a gong or even ring a bell. This has been practiced over many centuries to say these words over and over again. This is from the Quran, which is the same time when the Bible was inscribed. So I am a true believer in, protecting yourself from the evil eye, considering jealousy is in fact a human condition. So my lovey-doveys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please like, share, follow, and subscribe. Do what you want. I hope you guys enjoy this. Please send suggestions. I'd always love to hear what your opinion is about the episode. So I'm out, lovey. So this is Christina with Karma's Eye Psychic LLC here on Universal Spirit Podcast, bringing it to you every week. I hope you guys enjoy. Have a lovely weekend. Happy 4th of July. And I love you, lovies. Bye.